Welcome to today's episode of My Pastor Preached Today. Stay tuned to find out the views of First Lovers about what they thought of a sermon preached by our pastor, prophet, and evangelist Bishop Dag Heward-Mills. Stay tuned.
My pastor preached today about church growth and help us in the ministry. And I was really blessed by a point he raised that if God did not help you, no one can help you. Yeah, because I realized that this point only made me realize how much true it is that because my life, I have a lot of problems in my life, and each time I try to tell people about my problem, I feel like they're actually mocking me or making me even feel bad when they're trying to help me. But he raised the point in 2 Kings chapter 6 verse 27, and he said, if God does not help you, no one can really help you. Yeah, so I'm really blessed by that point, and that's just what I want to share with you all.
My pastor preached today, and I learned that the Holy Spirit himself is a helper. Even though the Holy Spirit is invisible, we cannot see him. He is working at the background. He's invisible. He's more important than the person who stands on the stage to preach.
My pastor preached today, and I learned that the help ministry is also in the Bible, and it says in 1 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 28 that God has set some in the church, and the help ministry is also there. So I learned that being a helper in the church is also a ministry.
My pastor preached today, and I learned that we will not be forgiven, you and I will not be forgiven if we do not help in building the church on Judgment Day. Well, from this I believe that everyone has a part to play, a role in developing the church, and if you neglect it, there's going to be so many people whose souls you could have won that you didn't. God's going to ask of their souls from them.
My pastor preached today, and I learned that a wife is a source of helper. And under that point, he said that a wife is a source of fruitfulness. And as a dancing star, I learned that I need to be fruitful. Sunday after Sunday, he preaches to us every day, and there's a need that I bear fruit because it's actually sowing seeds into our lives. So what I learned is that I need to be a fruitful person.
My pastor preached today, and I learned that if God does not help you, who can help you? And he explained with 2 Kings chapter 6 verse 27, which tells of a story of a woman who asked in a time of famine, asked the king for help, and the king paused and told her that, my sister, if God does not help you, who can help you? So this taught me today that we cannot look unto man for our help, but we have to look unto God for our help.
My pastor preached today, and I learned how important and personal working for God and helping in the house of God is to God. And he used the verse in 2 Timothy chapter 4 verse 16 about how you may not even be forgiven on the judgment day when you refuse or neglect the work of God. And so I've learned to take the work of God very seriously and not to neglect it and not to refuse to work for God when I can.
My pastor preached today, and I learned that helping in the house of God and helping in ministry will help you to receive mercy on Judgment Day. So I personally learned that I must help in the house of God to receive mercy on that Judgment Day. And I want to encourage you to also help in the house of God to finally receive mercy on the Judgment Day.
Thank you so much for watching today's episode of My Pastor Preached Today. To watch the message that First Lovers have discussed in full, head over to YouTube and search for Dag Heward-Mills or First Love Center. You can also listen to the message on podcast. If you have an Apple device, search for Dag Heward-Mills on the podcast app, and if you use an Android device, search for Dag Heward-Mills on the Podcast Addict app. God bless you, and see you on the next episode of My Pastor Preached Today.
My pastor preached